Welcome to Movie and a Beer, everybody. This is Dan bringing us in, and we have a really funny comedy from the mid-2000s.
2008.
And 4 people here to chat about this wonderful movie. We have some friends at the table.
We do.
And some interesting conversations about what they call... it's not LARPing for them. It's
Lair, Laire. Live action, the rest I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like entertainment. But this is Aaron. I'm your Kiss expert.
Kiss, baby.
Detroit
Kiss.
Rock City forever.
There you go.
Dig-a-da-dum. I'm your Ben Affleck expert. Paul Rudd is white, therefore he's Ben Affleck.
Yes.
And I'm Brian. I will teach you how to properly hug your littles.
That needs to be learned in this movie because they don't do it appropriately.
Let's never reference it again.
Wow.
We're talking
Real
about
quick, I love the waterfall of laughter where I made Aaron break, and then Brian made me and Aaron break.
It's very nice. So the 2008 movie Role Models. This has Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott as the main characters trying to not go to jail.
As Danny and Wheeler.
Right.
Yes. They started out as co-workers for a company.
Minotaur energy drink.
Minotaur
Taste the
energy
beast.
Taste the Beast.
Can you get any more on the point about Red Bull? I mean, maybe you have to beep that out because it's a name brand. But
I mean,
like,
we don't
care.
We don't have to be. We're not trying to sell it, but it is basically
we're doing commentary.
But you're right. It is basically Red Bull.
But it's green.
it is green.
And it comes out green.
Well, that's all they drink.
It's Taste the Beast, Dan.
Taste the Beast.
Dan, stay off drugs. Taste the beast.
So this movie's been around a little while. So these guys, they drive this truck around to different high schools and elementary schools, and they do a free presentation and sell their product to the kids. They give them a free taste, a free can,
Right.
and just stay off drugs. Drugs are bad. Drink this can of artificial
hyper-caffeinated
of
energy
caffeine.
drink.
Addictive caffeine and sugar.
Instead of doing drugs, which is, I don't know which is better or worse.
Okay,
but,
sugar's a drug and caffeine's a drug.
Yeah,
Let's just
Yeah.
disclose. Yeah.
So they get really kind of wired on it, and Mr. Danny does some bad decision making.
Yeah, they have a bad day and get arrested.
They almost hit a cop. Yeah, they get arrested. They're about to go to jail for 30 days. Danny's, at the time, girlfriend / lawyer, Beth, says...
Soon to be ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Spoiler.
There's no spoiling this movie. It's fine. She gets them community service with Sturdy Wings, a take on the Big Brother program.
Yeah, Big Brother's
where we
Big
get
Sister.
to meet Jane Lynch's character, which is my favorite character in the whole movie.
Yes. Quite funny. So they get paired up with 2 kids. One is a little bit younger, a 5th grader named
Ronnie. Bobby is his name?
Yeah, Bobby J. Thompson. And he's hilarious. He just breaks it up. Really amazing child actor. And then the slightly older teenager, he's played by Christopher Mintz-Plasse
as Augie.
From Superbad as McLovin.
Yep.
He was in Kick-Ass as, I forget his name, but like the bad guy kid. That kind of style of comedy.
So so they end up being in this bad situation, and they're trying to work their way out of it. And this was a great situation where we didn't know really what we were going to watch until the last minute, and we were like, hey, we're going to stop and pick up some beers for this. So we grabbed a couple of what we would consider to be just kind of like sipping summertime beers because it's hot outside.
Very toasty.
And this movie takes place in the summertime.
I think California.
Yeah, in California.
Plates a few times.
So we got we stopped at Cerveza and picked up the Block 15 Shandy River because it's hot outside, and then the Good Vibrations West Coast Pilsner from Loowit.
And listeners, the 3 knuckleheads that Dan has to deal with, we picked these out ourselves.
Yes, I was like, pick them out because you it's about time you graduated and figured it out on your own.
Independent decision making.
I know, right?
And I refuse to do any work, so I still didn't pick anything out.
And Dan, how'd we do?
You did good. These were really
Good
decent
job,
beers.
boys. Clap.
We'll talk about those a little bit later on. But this movie, if you haven't seen it, it's been out for a while now. I would highly recommend. If you haven't, it is highly recommend because it's a comedy. It's lighthearted. It has growth with the characters. Every single character grows and learns something.
I can say, as a fan of the people who made this, I watched The State on MTV, one of their go-to sketch program. A lot of these actors in the movie were in that. Ken Marino, Kenny Silver, 80 Miles, Joe Lo Truglio. And I'm a big fan of David Wayne's because he just gets the structure of a film like down to the wire. Like this is fully just a hero's journey. You can see and feel like each beat of, all right, well, here's where Act 1 ends and here's where Act 2 starts. And clearly this is where Act 2 is ending because this conflict's about to come up. Now these heroes have to rise again. Now in Act 3 with the lair event, that's all I'll say if we want to avoid spoilers. But he's very good at just big, broad, weird comedy and also genre. Like the director gets how genre is. And this is, it feels like a Will Ferrell movie.
This movie is like 17 years old. It's okay to spoil it.
A little bit.
They go to the lair.
All right, yeah, they go.
They go back and compete.
So what is the main arc for our two protagonists?
I think
you say
it's Danny learning to stop being such a
It's a redemption movie.
Yeah, like to stop. Yeah,
that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
he stops being such a killjoy about everything. We see early on, and I see this on videos occasionally, him griping about how at a Starbucks knockoff, the only size that isn't large is the venti, which means 20. He's complaining about a grande and tall are both large, blah, blah, blah. And Wheeler just does Wheeler's thing. Wheeler's basically still a college student.
Yeah.
He's just thinking about himself. And by the end of the film, kind of both main characters are no longer thinking about themselves. They're thinking about these kids that they're big brothers to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the movie's about, that arc.
Yeah.
That redemption.
And I think they do that really well. Like they cover all the bases. They do the job. Like I like these actors. I like their characters already. So I'm already on board. Like I want you guys to win. And I think they do a good job with it.
I think the two kids are pretty believable. I think the characters, the personas they represent on the screen are like pretty on point.
Buddy, if I knew about LARP when I was in high school, I would have been Augie.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
I was playing Magic the Gathering. I wasn't that far off.
You got the nerd that's just trying to do his thing. The parents don't want him to do it.
They don't
think
get
he's a
it.
nerd. They don't get it.
Yeah, they want him to play sports and like girls and
all the stuff.
love basketball and cars and whatever kids do.
Well,
wearing a sleeveless shirt over a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so there's this kid, Augie, who is completely unsupported at home. His parents don't understand him at all and are trying to like actively pull him away and discourage him from the one community that understands him and gives him acceptance.
Right, which is live action role play, which is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but you actually act it out.
Right.
For those in the audience who don't know what this is.
Foam swords, colored balls to represent spells. You're just out in a park, like playing these characters with people live.
Was it SCA that does? Is that
SCA? I think is more accurate. I'm looking to Brian.
Historical based. Like
LARP is more like spells and stuff.
It's more historically based and it's full contact with armor and rebated weapons.
Whereas I think LARP is you have items that represent spells. You have foam everything because the idea is that you're not really wearing heavy armor. You're wearing like sneakers, but with like
robes.
We see in the movie. Yeah, exactly. Robes. We see in the movie like a soda can chest plate, which I thought was really clever. Something like that. Like a little more, not improvised, but just more casual. I just want to play this character and you dress up to the degree that you want to.
Right.
There's a YouTube series I don't remember the name of where it's like a short. It's similar to Felicia Day's The Guild.
The Guild is what I was just going to
It's not The Guild because that's the World of Warcraft thing. But there's a shorter one where it's about a group who at home, like the way we all play D&D together, they have a LARP game at home where they all dress up, go to their friend's house and like do these scenes like physically live. And it's a much more toned down version of what we see in this movie, which is like grand battles. Countries at war with each other.
Then like rented a city park.
It's kind of like it's kind of like Ren Fair, but you do the battles and the adventuring. It's not just walking around and being a spectator.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing we noticed was it
Sweating
wasn't really
to death.
refs. There was like one dude who kind of gave the instructions for the battle royal, and then it was like everyone's on their own and you're just using your.
That's one of the things I think leans into how there was a writer's strike, and they just kind of said, "We'll just skip some of the nitty gritty, nitpicky story stuff. We just hammer the main points." Which again is David Wayne's strength. He's not amazing at like making a believable story. He makes a grand story.
Yeah.
Well, and the idea that these filmmakers would know that world well enough to know, hey, there needs to be refs. That's a stretch. They probably don't have time.
Yeah.
Right.
To do LARP.
They know enough to know if we can't call it LARP, we'll just like legally call it something different.
Right. Live action role play events.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a buddy movie. It's a redemption story, But this is also, to me, feels very much of like a teen comedy that you find, like, because there was like Euro Trip vibes a little bit. There's, not another teen movie. There's American Pie.
Yeah, there's some female nudity and objectification happening, which was very kind of 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
humor.
like just out of nowhere.
That genre, I'd say too, through the 2000 to like 2010 or so.
Yeah, did we ever look up when American Pie came out? Because this does feel a little inspired by it to some degree.
Yeah, I was going to kind of ask, like, does it fit in that category?
The teen gross out comedy,
like a little, or like is it distinct?
It's like if those teens grew up, I think.
Okay,
because it's not a gross out comedy. There's like weird. Like, I mean, honestly, the humor for the most part is kind of
slapstick.
A little slapstick, but then like the scenes with Danny and Wheeler with Gail. When she's telling them, like, well, if it's Mr. BS and Dr. BS.
Yeah.
What makes us BS? Which one of us has a doctorate? Feels very much like people riffing on each other who, like, I took some improv classes. I know how to riff. Like, that's not me saying that. That's these characters. So it feels like the kids who grew up watching American Pie said, well, that's funny, but we could do more with it.
So now we can set it as like 30-year-olds that are dissatisfied with their trajectory in life.
Yes.
Correct. So
right, we were those kids in high school. Now we have these dead-end jobs as adults.
Right.
So based on some trivia, and as mentioned, there was a Writers Guild strike in 2007, which was when this film was being written and put together and then filmed. So, yeah, a lot of the some of the trivia is about they tried to do constant rewrites, but the thing is they just had to stop because of what was going on with the strike, and so they just improvised. Yeah, they just had to. The actors are fairly established in Hollywood. Most of them had done other projects, so I'm not so sure about all the children actors, but anyone who had any lines clearly knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they're all like most of the people who had significant roles are comedians who know how to be funny in the moment.
Yeah, and it felt that way. This didn't feel. Some films that are comedies can feel very awkward. This didn't really feel that awkward to me. This felt, when I say awkward, like the actors had to figure out how to make it funny.
Like overly scripted, where we have these set lines, you have to deliver them this particular way.
Yeah, it felt more natural to me.
Well, the actors were playing it straight. They were inhabiting the characters.
Right.
And they weren't caricatures. They were just real people who happen to have these terrible habits.
Yeah, people in absurd situations.
Everything the characters do makes sense. Like, it's internally consistent for those characters. But there's a lot in this film that feels like it's kind of like improvised for the gag. Like, there's a lot that's kind of set up like, let's get a laugh. Okay, then we shift and we get another laugh, and then we get another laugh. And like I liked this movie overall. It's not my usual genre. I wouldn't say I strongly recommend it. I think I recommend it, but it feels a little like, I guess my one complaint is that it feels a little shallow in that respect. There's a lot of setups for gags, and maybe it is kind of an impact, Dan, like you were saying, the writer's strike was going on. Maybe that's why it feels a little slightly shallow to me in that way. That said, it's heartwarming, it's fun. Like, I enjoyed watching with you guys. I think if I watched it by myself, I'd be like, I could watch something else.
A lot of comedies I feel work best when you watch with a group.
With an audience, absolutely.
So I have seen comedies alone and thought, this is really funny, but I laugh more when I'm with friends and going, it's a group here to enjoy it.
A laugh shared is a laugh squared.
Yep.
Beer, like laughter, is best shared with friends, as quoted by Blake Hunt on the plaque at Prost. Go to Prost in Portland and see my plaque.
Yeah.
Did you rip off Benjamin Franklin by saying that?
No, I don't think so. I don't know who that is.
So,
Aaron's point, one of the scenes that I didn't remember being in the movie, which clearly feels like we got to just get some footage, was Sean William Scott as Wheeler walking up to Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Augie, who's like hanging his backpack up, I guess, against bears. Yeah, and then he just tells them this whole thing about how two eagles will lock talons and they won't break apart as they nosedive into the ground until they finish making love. Yeah, as they make love. And and then he's like, "Why would you tell me this? Why wouldn't I?" And he walks away. Like, clearly, like they didn't have enough footage. They told Sean and Scott, just say a thing. mess with him, and then that was the scene.
And that's a great example of kind of what I was talking about. Like, and dear listener, don't think like the entire movie, like that doesn't represent the entire movie. But there are moments like that where it feels like, okay, we didn't really need that. It didn't drive the story forward. It didn't explain anything about the characters.
Yeah.
It was going for a laugh. And sometimes those moments succeeded. Right. And sometimes it was like, what is this about Eagles? What's going on with this? This is so weird.
I do love this movie. I have it on Blu-ray. I intend to watch it again. But I am realizing today, I wish there was more with Wheeler and Augie.
Right.
Because that's the only interaction they really have together. And it's a weird bit that confuses one of them, which is funny. But well, now I kind of want to see them get along.
Right. Because in the end, Wheeler also comes to Augie's to save Augie.
Yeah. He becomes this Star Child? No. Star
Spaceman and Star
Spaceman.
Child.
That's right.
Yeah.
So just on a side note, 7 or 8 of these actors appeared in a film together in 2001.
Was it Wet Hot American Summer?
Yes.
Ah, that movie's so good.
And 3 of them appeared together in The 40-Year-Old Virgin in 2005.
Pretty good movie.
8 of them then appeared in the 2012 film Wanderlust.
Oh, yeah.
And then 4 of them appeared in Pitch Perfect in 2012. And then 3 of them appeared in Burning Love in 2012.
Hold on. What was Pitch Perfect and what was Burning Love? I'm not
Pitch Perfect is the Anna Kendrick a cappella movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Funny singers.
All right.
You didn't mention They Come Together, the genre movie that just takes apart every romantic comedy ever, like on purpose.
Yeah, so it might be in here in the trivia, but I was like, I was just reading this. I'm like, it's like a whole bunch of the same people acting together. So like as a troupe, it's like you hire one, you hire them
a
all.
lot of people from the state.
That's also part of the genre.
Yeah.
There are only so many A and B list actors in comedy, and it's also a function of the casting director who's associated with the film. Because what they'll do is the director will say, hey, we need these kind of parts. Who do you have that you can send me?
Who's in your Rolodex?
Right. Who can read for these parts? And the casting director will say, okay, I can give you these 5 people.
Yeah.
And that's who they send over.
Yeah. And so the director cameoed. There's always that one guy with the guitar who kind of can play, but he can't really play.
Yeah, hold on.
Kumbaya.
Hold on.
Well, that was legitimately a
David
funny
Wayne,
bit where he was trying to do Kumbaya and failed like 8 times in a row. And then finally, like, this Wings song that nobody's heard of. And then he plays it flawlessly. Like,
And it wasn't Wings. Everybody refers to it as Wings.
The song was written by somebody who has played with Paul McCartney and got permission.
Ah, that's funny.
The logo for this youth group for kids. So it's called what? Sturdy Wings.
Sturdy Wings. That's right.
The logo is identical to the image on the Wingspan Hits in History by Paul McCartney's band Wings.
Oh my goodness.
I never realized.
Wow.
Gave them permission to do all of this shit and just not riff on it, but just like.
And that's the kind of thing I love about comedies like this, like mid-budget. Like, we can throw something like that in. The real fans will get it.
I mean, that's a good thing for Sir Paul McCartney.
I love it.
Be generous.
It's not like he needs
Also,
the money,
the fact
but
that
it's just like, here we go. Yeah, sure.
The fact they didn't fall into that trap we have now of, I don't think he's saying that. And we all just look at our phones like, no, I'm pretty sure he did. No, he didn't. No, he might have.
Yeah. And so he also, Paul Rudd says, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. And like not knowing that in like a decade and a half, he's going to be starring in not 1, but 2 Ghostbuster movies.
Oh, he is in both. That's weird.
He's in both the 2 most recent ones. Yeah.
Also, Elizabeth Banks directed Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
It has no bearing on this conversation. I just wanted to say it.
I mean,
but she's
Jane
in the
Lynch's
film.
character.
She is in the film.
Yeah.
I mean, seems kind of still obsessed with her addictions.
That feels like they met people who go clean, and they not in a bad. I'm not ragging on this at all. I'm not making fun of people who go clean, but make it their whole personality where they're always talking about
how sober they are.
Yeah. And I feel like Jane Lynch did a good job of like really heightening that and making a real caricature of a good person who's weird.
Still has a demon or 2 to work.
Put the line down, pull the phone out of the cord, and do lines of self-esteem, because that's what you got, boys. And you hear the phone.
No, selfishness. Do
selfishness. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because they only think about themselves.
That was still Act 2, Blake. They were still.
This whole movie's a blur.
Right.
But no, I
I was going to ask. I mean, we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, and it was such an interesting beginning of a topic. I didn't want to lose it, and I wanted to bring it up. We mentioned like Dick Van Dyke and Lucille Ball, the way that sometimes comedy will like transcend time, and it just still is funny. And then there's other times where comedy gets a little bit dated.
Corky's.
And I was going to ask, like, in what aspects does this movie in what aspects does role models succeed or maybe not succeed with, being from 2008? I will say, like, there seem to be like some gratuitous boobs,
Yeah,
2008
one
movie.
scene.
No,
there's
a couple.
There was
two.
the camping scene,
You can't-
and
Or
party.
4, depending on how you count them.
You can't
According
forget
to
the
Wheeler,
teacher.
there's 2 boobs every man, give or take.
Yeah.
I feel like the probably improvised because of writer's strike back and forth are the best part because it feels like the actors just riffing together. The when she's telling them, I'm the referee, I'm the goaltender, I'm the left center, I'm the right center. And he says, "Are you the coach? I am the coach. I'm this. Are you this? Yes, I'm that as well. Like
I'm
that,
the guard. I'm the coach. I'm the other guard.
Are you the other coach?" And it's just the back and forth of like that. I think stuff like that still does really well because wordplay is always fun.
Right.
Like I Love Lucy, the Dick Van Dyke Show. Some of Gilligan's Island has some phenomenal wordplay.
Carol Burnett Show, all the stuff from the late 60s, early 70s, all those late
honestly,
night shows.
Shakespeare, like wordplay is always going to be funny.
Well, I mean, like, there's also like Andy Kaufman or Gilda Radner. Like, I would say some of that, still, I think, so unexpected and so like still funny.
So I would say the riffing still stays. I mean, I really like this movie, but I'm trying to remember the parts that weren't as.
I mean, it seems somewhat
applicable these days.
I mean, it seems like, depending on the age of the crowd, like you're bringing kids, and there was more than one kid at that party. If you
I don't
look,
think I saw any kids at that
there
party.
were
except for
there were
Ronnie.
other kids
Were
at
there?
that party. Yeah, there were other younger people there.
Oh, I thought they were all like college age.
Well, they were. But there were also
College
really young,
kids.
like they brought their kids,
Youth.
like the young parents brought their kids along, and there's,
Well,
there's a whole group of people babysitting.
Hold on.
them.
This is something I think hasn't aged as well. We've got a film where a lot of the comedy presents itself as putting kids into adult situations.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And that's where a lot of the humor stems from. And I don't know if that holds up quite as well.
Right.
Wheeler bringing a kid he's known for 12, maybe 8 hours at that point to his home seems a little weird.
Seems a little.
And
He
then
picks
like
an empty beer bottle, old Chinese, and then he starts thinking about how Paul Stanley's member is the subject of a song.
right. Well, yeah, he starts talking about like how Kiss, it gets all these women and like coaching him on being like a little mini womanizer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that felt flat. There are intersections, I think, with race and gender in this movie
Yeah.
that don't play as well now because
Right.
I think we're
At that time, they were considered kind of edgy comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Or actually mainstream comedy.
right.
I mean, same year as Tropic Thunder, and there's an entire conversation in that movie about the R word. So,
Yeah.
as compared to that, it's a little more tame, but there's still parts of like, well, okay, that was of that time.
right.
Well, and Tropic Thunder, let's shout out to that. It was,
Hey, check out that episode out, guys.
yeah.
That was a good movie.
It was kind of spoofing those ideas,
Oh, of
whereas this just presented it as,
those
okay,
ideas,
this is the
yeah.
funny, this is the funny here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was the teen comedy that had the token black guy? Like at a party.
Well, okay, so you
No, I
mentioned
mean,
not another teen movie before,
was
but
it-
that was satirizing other teen movies.
It was.
His whole thing was.
I think that was not another teen movie, and they actually
he-
had a
he
person
does-
named Token.
Well,
that's
he-
South
that's
Park.
South
That's
Park.
South Park. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
But there is a token black guy in another teen movie,
And
which is
like-
one of my favorite movies of all time.
And like one of
where-
them had to leave because sorry,
Yes,
I didn't realize you were.
that's another teen movie. He walks in and says on screen, "Hey, I'm just a token black guy here. I'm just here to say, damn, shit, and that is whack." And you can bleep me for the swear.
Yeah.
But then he goes to a party, sees another black guy who's a great actor, is like a good
Right.
character actor,
Right.
and he just says, "Oh, man." He says all the lines like, "Damn, that's whack. Yeah, whack. I know, man." They high five and he leaves.
Which
That's also a movie making fun of those movies.
of the like the tokenization and the
Well, I mean,
race politics
The
of the time.
non-representation.
Yeah.
This movie
Yeah.
had Keegan-Michael Key, which aside from Ronnie was like, and Ronnie's mom, like the main African American person, and he talks about he has a line where he goes, "I think we're gonna mix more with the white chocolate," and the other character's like, "I don't know if I agree with that. That's fine, I guess." Like,
Yeah. So Key and Peele didn't start till like 2012. So this was like early on.
This was early
in
in
his
his
career.
career.
He
Whatever.
had what, one line or two lines?
one line.
One line.
Yeah.
You,
About
see
white
him.
chocolate
You see
line.
him in the scene when they meet Miles and when they get introduced to Gail and the whole program. Which one of the better laughs was seeing the VHS tape of her like introducing Stray Wings and then moonwalking from behind the TV into.
Okay, I was thinking that was one of the best character intros I've seen in a movie in a long time. I'm glad you put that because, okay, dear listener, there was
that
like
was amazing to all of us.
It was amazing to all of us, but there was this like infomercial explaining what Sturdy Wings was about, you know, and it was like really like a cheesy. It had completely the infomercial vibe down perfectly, and then you know it cuts to like an actual TV screen and pulls away. And you just see Jane Lynch moonwalking from behind the TV. And when she was on the screen, and like now
she was on the screen moonwalking, and then she moonwalks from behind the AV setup.
And it was so cheesy but perfect. Like to that moment, I think like that might be my favorite character intro since like A Knight's Tale when you meet Chaucer walking down the road naked, or Omar and Lawrence of Arabia coming across the desert, and then finally he shoots a guy for stealing his water. The brilliant character intros can really, I think, change how the movie plays. Yeah.
So, listeners, you heard it here first. Aaron is comparing role models to Lawrence of Arabia. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Everything compares to Lawrence of Arabia.
It's just one of those films.
So
yeah,
here's going to be a point of contention. I also think going back to what comedy holds up.
Oh yeah.
I found some of the slapstick and physical humor of the film very funny, and I think it holds up. We had a discussion beforehand where one of us didn't think slapstick is highbrow humor.
I will out myself. That was me.
Well, Aaron, you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong. Brian, I wouldn't call slapstick highbrow. It is comedy.
It is
like
comedy.
My father raised me on both Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Three Stooges, so I can appreciate a turn of phrase and two knuckleheads getting hit with a ladder. But,
purposefully.
Well, they didn't mean to. Curly didn't mean to. Curly's like, what are you talking about, Mo? Bonk.
But it was funny in the moment, but like thinking about like seeing a fifth grader slap a man, you know,
we're laughing right
I'm
now.
not trying to undercut your point. It is still funny to me, but please.
Well, I was going to say, I mean,
he get hit by a bowl of popcorn twice.
Right.
Where he's like, don't throw chips at me. And he picks up the bowl and throws it at the other guy. He's like, here, have some chips.
I mean,
I can see,
stop interrupting Aaron.
They're going for the laugh, but it's also like if you're using violence to prop up humor, I think you can do better. I think you can
There's
find
a writer's
a
strike
way.
going on.
You can excuses.
Buster Keaton is dead.
That's right. Charlie Chaplin is more than 100 years ago at this point. Have we not moved on?
No.
Have we not moved on?
I argue he used slapstick in a very clever way.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it just feels like it's a little bit low effort sometimes. I mean, if it's isolated here or there, like okay, all right, yeah, it's funny.
This does a
but
lot
if
of
you're
it,
doing
though.
too much of it, it's like it can't. For me, it can't carry a movie.
That's fair. I see where you're coming from, and I do agree that too much of it is too much of it.
Right. And I think that's what keeps this movie from being great. It's good, but what keeps it from being great is probably, honestly, the writer's strike and the impact of, you know, the ad-libbing and the kind of the shallowness that comes from that, and then, you know, the slapstick and the reliance on that. And so, the listener, like, don't think I regret watching this movie, because I don't. I enjoyed it, but I think it could have been better, and I think that's why I'm kind of picking at it tonight, because it's like, oh, you know, they could have done this in a slightly different way. So I'm being a curmudgeon, like our protagonist at the beginning of the film.
Oh, Danny, when he was griping about the coffee sizes.
Yeah, he's like going about coffee sizes because he's a curmudgeon. I'm being that curmudgeon.
A very handsome young curmudgeon, both Aaron and Paul Rudd.
I know,
Thank
right?
you.
Like Paul Rudd was what, 12 in this movie?
You mean Ben Affleck, right?
Oh, well, Ben Affleck is white, so yes, Paul Rudd is Ben Affleck.
Well, and Stifler, who was still Stifler.
Boy, he's beautiful, just stubble. Man's got a chin that cut diamonds.
So you looked up Not Another Teen Movie was 1999.
Oh no, American Pie.
American Pie.
Was
American Pie was 1999.
That was mind blowing. I didn't know it was that late, but it makes sense since Blink-182 was featured heavily on that.
I mean, there's like the 1980s, like 16 Candles. Who did all those movies?
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Thank you.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah. And then the kind of 90s response to it of American Pie and those
American
kind of
Pie,
other teen
Empire Records, I'd argue, is part of it, sort of.
Sure.
It's
that's interesting.
You could say Reality Bites.
because they
was all
aren't
the
really
but that's less of
so
a sex
sexually
comedy.
driven. Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of those. Oh,
Road Trip, Euro Trip.
Yeah, Road Trip, Euro Trip. I was about to say Cruel Intentions, but that is not a comedy.
No,
That is
it's a teen movie.
It is a different genre.
And then this is kind of just it's not quite a teen movie, but I think that genre quieted down maybe a bit after Mean Girls.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there was this whole
what it was
thing.
for, yeah.
There was this whole
Would
thing.
you say this is the same genre as Dumb and Dumber? Maybe.
I feel like Dumb and Dumber is just pure comedy. There's a story, but their whole thing was we're going to deliver jokes as fast as possible.
But it's a buddy
dumber.
movie. It's a buddy movie. Dumb and Dumber was a buddy movie.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
This is also a buddy movie.
Yeah. So there was 4 Kiss songs played in the movie
That's pretty good.
as part of the movie. Not
And there's
as,
4 layers in Kiss.
Yes.
National treasure.
All right. So how effective was that for them to actually like hit play on the boombox and have the music come through and they're like interacting with the music, but then it pulled back. We still heard it at full volume, and then it became more of the background music and not what they heard.
Well,
on
the
stage.
one scene when we meet Augie, that was diegetic, where he's playing fancy music on his boombox, but
yes,
and then Wheeler, I think, plays Love Gun.
Love Gun in his apartment. What was being played when they first got in trouble? Because that was more soundtrack. That was like a
lot of the soundtrack felt like they got a free sample thing and just kind of played. Here's the tune for this scene.
The montage with ELO.
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
So embarrassed I forgot that.
that was a good choice for a song.
and there's the Chipmunk Charlie song. They take the 2 kids. The first place they go is to Chucky.
CHIPMONK
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah.
They're friar monks who are also chipmunks.
When our protagonists did not know how to interact with children, that's the first place they took them. It was this awful,
it was kind of a Chuck E. Cheese ripoff.
yeah, animatronic, horrible. Yeah, and the kids were so unimpressed. It was
Ronnie threw chips and then twerked a little bit.
Right.
Yes.
Physical comedy.
Right, Aaron, we get it.
More physical comedy.
You're not wrong.
There was just a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So effective use of music then?
Yeah. Yes. I wouldn't call it a standout soundtrack at all. I mean, there were some funny gags tied into music, and that was great. Like the reference to the overnight camp. You're going to have somebody who can't quite play Kumbaya, and then you just show the guy screwing it up over and over and over again.
These ships always have someone who can't quite play the guitar, and then cut right to David Wayne.
Yeah,
Right.
And then I thought it was fun at the end where the protagonist proposed one more time to his girlfriend to a Kiss ballad
Called Beth.
called Beth at the LARP, the Ren Fair, and he used musicians on mandolins and lutes to play the song.
Play the Kiss song.
Which none of us
So
knew
that was
until
effective.
Dan looked it up, right?
No, I knew that was Beth. That's one of the.
I've
That's
never,
a famous
I've never
song
known
of
that.
theirs. Yeah, that was
I don't
like I
listen
said,
to a lot of Kiss.
that was one of their first ballads off of probably their second or third album.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they got a lot of guff for that because it's a slow ballad and rock bands aren't supposed to play ballads.
Yeah.
As the Kiss expert,
they're rockers.
I agree with everything Dan is saying.
Yes.
For me, I think the most exciting and dramatic part of this movie was Act 3 at the LARP festival. Because,
Agreed.
you know, there's all these people.
There
clearly-
were real stakes for our protagonists.
There were real
Go to
stakes for
jail.
the
Low
protagonists.
stakes, but they're very real.
Well, I mean, they had a court date that they missed to stay there with the kids.
Right, but
and
as far
fight
as
this battle.
as far as films, low stakes, like they're gonna go to jail for 30 days. And and Augie got to like be in the final fight.
Right.
Again, relatively low stakes for the world, but
Yeah.
high stakes for these characters.
But I do think it was neat to see this community that Augie had discovered, and that he was, you know, unlike his guidance counselor, unlike his parents, like everybody treated him as like a normal, fully functioning member of that community, and like he was very well adjusted.
Yeah,
there.
and the audience roots for him.
Right.
And they would have gotten in costume and helped that kid if they could. I think.
He had status, those I forget what he calls them, like the younger kids run up to him speaking some gibberish. He gives them like a thing. They run away and he acts exasperated. Like, I never should have given them the thing. Like,
right.
He has status
Never
over these
feed
kids.
the elves.
Yeah. Yeah. He has status over elves.
Right.
That's pretty,
And
for a kid who's got a crappy stepdad and a mom doesn't like his stuff. That's pretty impressive.
But it's like Augie in this community actually teaches Danny, who teaches Wheeler, who teaches Ronnie. Like there's this chain, there's virtuous cycle.
Yeah.
You might call it like a waterfall of wisdom.
Would you call it a love gun?
I would call it a cascade.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's the falling dominoes of
Yes. Of
the hot dog coming out of the bagel bun.
no, not a hot dog coming out of the butt. It's of social acceptance
Goodness.
and authenticity and being secure in yourself and having some wisdom about who you are.
having value.
Yeah.
And realizing your own value.
Right. And that comes from LARPing. And then from the LARPing, it kind of spreads out even to then Augie's parents, as one of the last dominoes, I think.
Yeah, but in the end, they support him.
Yeah, because they see like what it means for him to be there, and they see how.
Well, and I don't think they ever understood it, and they kind of understand, maybe. I mean, I
think they realize they're outnumbered, and everybody else has swords. So,
would you say that the heaven was on fire? Heaven's on fire?
Yes, I would. As a Kiss expert, I would say exactly that.
I realized I should have looked at a different band for the title and tricked you, but I didn't because we're friends. So we should rock and roll all night and talk about these beers we had.
Yeah. So there was some consumption of alcohol during the film.
Delicious Coronas, as per the Fast and the Furious family.
Correct. We did not, unfortunately, have those on hand because we did not know they were in the movie, or we forgot they were in the movie, and it's okay because we picked out some other things that were pretty good.
I tried to pitch Minotaur, but nobody wanted to drink it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, there are beers that are that lime green color.
I care about what I put inside my body.
But,
I'll get there one day.
One day. Right now we don't. So
I care about me.
I think this is the time on the podcast we're going to switch over to talking about beers.
Beer.
And so thanks for hanging out. We were talking about this movie.
One of these we just watched.
Not a beer. And it is a beer. It has beer in it. We watched Role Models, which is a 2008 film that it's a buddy comedy with kids, basically.
Yeah.
And a redemption film, as noted. We have a couple of beers that we picked up over at Cerveza just prior to us watching the film. The gentlemen here around the table were the ones that picked it out. So I'm going to hope that they have at least something to say about why they picked them out.
What?
They're both really good summery beers.
How dare you put us on the spot?
I'm going to put you on the spot. Like, you picked them out because of the can or because of...
Well, Dan, I was made for loving this beer, babe, and you were made for loving this beer.
Okay. He has in his hand the first beer.
2 Kiss songs.
The first beer we had is called Shandy River. It's a yuzu shandy lager with citrus juice, brewed in collaboration with Sugar Pine Drive-In and Block 15 Brewing. It's a 4% ABV. And Blake, is there a copy on there you'd like to share with us?
Apparently. A collaboration with Sugar Pine Drive-In, capturing summer rays by artfully blending a crisp rice lager base with our yuzu lemon soda. A lively refresher bound for river, trail, and backyard adventures.
It says below there, lick it up.
Lick it up.
Which ties into Kiss.
Okay, so
well, that had nothing to do with Kiss.
This is 2 episodes in a row with a Shandy, and that's okay because it's summertime. This is a different company, a different approach.
Yes.
This uses soda and not juice.
Well, also rice lager.
And it's a rice lager.
Yeah.
So,
but is a Shandy a beer, though? Like, it's an adulterated beer.
Well, does it fall under the ale or lager line?
Okay, so this is a lager, and again, you can make a Shandy or a Radler out of any kind of beer. There's no designated, it has to be this or that. Oh, yeah. A Radler typically can be made with anything.
But it's usually a lager,
Shandy,
isn't it?
A Shandy, no, when I say anything, I mean the juice or whatever you're adding to it.
Oh, any fruit.
Any fruit. What we had is typically only made with lemon of some way, shape, or form.
Well, yuzu is a citrus. It's an Asian
it's
citrus
lemon.
fruit.
It's a Japanese lemon.
Citrus usually works pretty well, I find.
Yeah.
But yuzu is like more
tart.
Intense, more tart.
Really
and
tart.
This was balanced. It was nice.
Yeah,
well,
I would say it tastes a little more grapefruity than lemon.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It warmed up and got that more lemon, but up front it was a little tighter and had that grapefruit. So this is thin, not as highly carbonated as I would expect. It does have a considerable amount of flavor, but it's also super light. And that's one of the things I liked about it, where the citrus notes really popped and the body wasn't super strong. So it's a rice lager. So it's going to be lighter.
It was really forward on the citrus, and I apparently loved it because I got through it way faster than most of the group did.
You were done with the first beer in 40 minutes.
Yeah, which I was not expecting to do.
The movie was about an hour 40.
Yeah, my first sip, I thought, not sure if I'm into this, and then a few more sips in, no, it's like a good robust flavor, a lot going on, really interesting, which kind of matches. Like, I feel like it would match any comedy, really, as long as like all the same setup of like, oh hey, here's our characters, here's what's happening, everything's well lit, yada yada yada.
A summer beer. It's very much a summer beer.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we picked this was there's a canoe floating down a river with a yuzu in it. Maybe.
A yuzu and a baby yuzu.
Yeah. And that was kind of reminiscent of summer camp, and this film had
camping
and also kind of the LARPing Ren Fair felt like a summertime camp activity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I would say it definitely matched the film really well.
Yeah, I'd agree. There was a beach scene. So there was water.
Yeah.
Which there's water on the can, so we can tie it in that way.
A beach scene?
Yeah, they went to the beach.
When did they go to the beach?
Oh, right, during the montage.
They got buried. It was a montage.
That's right.
Yeah.
They made sand boobs. I remember
sand boobs, and they were laughing. It was
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a very brief moment in the movie, Dan. Like a specific...
That's since you're not the ELO expert, it makes sense you don't remember because that's when they played ELO.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mr. Blue Sky, right? Okay.
Yeah. Which is a pretty popular and famous song. You if you heard it, you'd recognize it.
You would.
If you watch the intro to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it's in there.
Yeah. So other thoughts on this? Very crushable, clean. The Shandy we had the other day was, I think, a little more sweet and a little bit just straight more lemon.
Lemony. Yep.
Almost like lemon pledge, because it almost had too of an artificial type flavor. This one, they used yuzu soda and not yuzu juice. So it's going to be more tampered down and more sweet. So I think it mixed with the lager a little bit more nicely like that. But yeah, Radlers typically are mixed with lagers or super light pale ale or something like that, or even a Hefeweizen. You can make it with a wheat beer. And all Hefeweizen just means it's a wheat beer that has a certain kind of yeast. But anything, you can mix any kind of juice with a beer and call it a Radler.
Challenge accepted.
Yes. So if you go and you look up Stiegel.
Prune juice.
Stiegel
Stay
Company.
tuned for the next episode. We watch Grumpy Old Man and do a prune juice lager.
So, Dan, when you say crushable,
yes,
this clocks in at 4% alcohol by volume.
So it would be a sessionable beer. Anything below or at around 4% or lower is considered session or a session lager or session ale.
I was gonna ask if crushable was only meant that you could drink a lot of them, or if it was
you could, but it depends on your alcohol tolerance and how thirsty you are. I mean, because right now I'm hot and thirsty, and I'm like, I need another one because it's warm down here, and I'm like, bleh.
It's warm everywhere.
Well, we're hot guys.
We're hot. Stop breathing, everybody. Damn it.
Well, please don't stop. Please continue breathing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dan didn't say Simon Says.
Yes.
Oh, no. I feel for it again.
No, red light, green light. Red light, green light.
Can I run or not? I don't want the big doll to shoot me.
So Brian, non-hop head, thoughts on this non-hoppy beer?
It was fine. I'm not a big fan of grapefruit flavor.
Okay.
And so this was a little tart and bitter for me, but
Okay.
it was good. It was fine. It matched the film really well. It was a good, easy drinking summer beer.
Nice.
That's reasonable.
All right. So are we ready to move on to the second selection of the evening?
Yeah.
Let me stretch
we
real
are.
quick, and I'm ready.
All right. We have Good Vibrations West Coast Pilsner from Loowit Brewing, which is in Vancouver, Washington. And so Block 15 is down in Corvallis. They're distributed widely. They're all over the place. They have a pretty good range of beers. Loowit Brewing Company, in the last, 5 years, pre and post pandemic, have really kind of dialed in what they're doing with their beer scene and the recipes. And I think they've gotten a good hold of some really good recipes and have started canning and distributing here in Oregon. And I think that they are going to at least hold their place in the market for a while.
Well, the distribution's relatively new, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we only ever got it when our friend Cody lived in Vancouver, to Vancouver to see him. And I was always... A lot of their beers I wasn't stoked on. There's only like one or two I really enjoyed having at any given time.
Yeah.
During the year, I have certain preferences, but Loowit always thought, well, what do they have? What's there right now? Am I going to be into it? This was amazing. I love this.
Really, really nice standard Pilsner.
And they've got a tap room right in on Main Street, Lower Main Street in Vancouver.
Yeah,
if you ever want to
not too far from the waterfront, next to a barbecue place.
With a gigantic
popular.
metal D20 you can roll.
You can. So a lot of the stuff that they have inside of their main tap room and production space is themed around fantasy art, a lot of comic book covery kind of stuff.
Anime sort of vibes.
So Shadow Shinobi IPA.
I think they got some Mech Gundam style kind of stuff.
Yeah. They had a whole line, and we previously had their fantasy role-playing character sheet beers.
Right. Those guys did the Wizard and the Fight and the Cleric. That's right.
So they had a whole line of IPAs, different hops, same base, where they did different accents to develop different characters of beers, and then they had a whole D&D role-playing sheet on the can that was filled out with the character.
It's too bad they didn't have that for this movie. That would have gone well with the third act.
Yeah. It's all right though. This was good vibration, so really nice.
This is delicious.
Any kind of copy on that can there other than 5.4% and
there's only a little copy. It's West Coast style Pilsner featuring Saaz, Nectrata, and Strata hops. Flavor profile is tropical, citrus, and berry. It really has to lean on the Good Vibrations name, which, according to your age, you'll associate with either the Beach Boys or Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Fine.
I'm the Kiss expert, though. I could have thought it was C&C's Music Factory.
Oh, there you go. So
no, CNC Music Factory makes cheesecake, Aaron. Come on.
There you go. Even better. Not as hoppy as I thought it was going to be. West Coast, so the Nectaron and...
That's right. You warned us ahead of time. We're
I
all
did.
got worried.
So the berry and the citrus are going to come from the Strata and the Nectaron. The Saaz is going to be more of the standard kind of West Coast IPA backbone.
Now, real quick, Dan, by standard IPA backbone, do you mean like the piney flavor?
Piney,
like the heavy, like the heft of the drink?
You're going to get a little bit of that, but the bitterness is going to be there.
Makes sense.
It's probably, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's probably a 10 or a 12 on the alpha acidity. So not super bitter, but enough to tell you, hey, this is supposed to have some bitterness to it.
Okay, cool.
And then the berry and the citrus are going to come from the other two hops, which, I applaud them. They did a really nice job in keeping the profile of the hops in check without getting overboard on them. I guess you'd say Pilsner malts and the lighter flavor, the backbone of this beer, really holds up nicely to that because everything's kind of restrained a bit, and they play nicely together. I really enjoyed this. I had a hard time just not drinking it down really fast because I was like, wow, this is really pleasant.
Here's some more.
Oh, thank you. So nice.
Our Kiss expert is a real nice guy.
He is. Yeah. So, non-hop head people at the table, thoughts on this non-hoppy?
Sure. I really like this beer. Part of it, of course, was that I was expecting something really heavily hopped, and it wasn't. But it was also extremely well balanced. And I would say of the two beers, I personally enjoyed the second one better, even though it had more hop profile.
Yeah.
I have to second what Brian's saying. The expectation to result was a nice surprise. I love hops, but it was really balanced was the right word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, West Coast IPAs are a little piney for me.
Well, luckily, I guess because I don't want to get off a whole tangent. Pilsner versus IPA is a big difference, just the hops you use.
Well, okay, so the malt body is going to be completely different because you're not going to use Pilsner malt in an IPA. You only use Pilsner malt in a lighter beer, an American lager, or an adjunct lager, or something like that. You can use it in ales, but it's not really going to provide you a lot of backbone because of the yeast that you're using needs a bigger body character in order to generate the flavor profile that you're typically going to get from that. I mean, you use Pilsner malt for color.
Really?
Yeah, primarily. It's super light. You're not going to get a lot of alcohol out of it unless you double and triple it up.
Because the whole idea with Pilsners is like it's a light, easy drinking beer. Like,
correct.
And I guess just seeing the West Coast portion had me thinking,
and the same for
the
me.
Hops.
The
West Coast portion is just the hops.
Right. But and that's what I don't like about a West Coast IPA.
So Saaz is a Czech hop, which for Czech Pilsner, this almost tastes like a Czech Pils kind of body. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, hey, let's add Nectaron and Strata to it. So the Strata is going to be your base malt that's going to give you, like I said, the more the alpha acidity, the more pure bitter flavor profile. And then the Nectaron is going to give you those other berry and tropical notes. So it plays really well together. Like whoever thought of this recipe, I applaud you because this is a really clean, nice, not over hopped. It's 5.4%. So it's not super low on the Pilsner scale.
That's right in my wheelhouse. Like enough to get a buzz off a couple, but not so much I'm like, oh man, I can't go anywhere with my car now.
Unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's clean and drinkable. I mean, I would say crushable. This is something you can just sit and drink. And I think so it did warm up a bit as we were sipping it. I know the first one didn't really change profile as much as it warmed up. Did this one to you guys change profile as much as it
changed them. I also had a little problem like not crushing this super fast because it tasted really good. I feel like it matched the movie extremely well, especially the second half when we get the drama of the hero's journey. Like, oh, now they're
right. I was so involved in the film by that point that I don't even remember when I finished it.
That's a mark of a good movie. It's entertaining.
So I really liked it. Couldn't tell you much about the notes. I just the balance thing is what I'm really hanging on. Like it just everything worked well together. It didn't hang out too long. There's a good flavor that introduced itself, and then I was like, oh, this is tasty. And then it didn't linger. I wasn't left like dry mouthed afterwards.
Yeah, this isn't as dry on the back as a lot of Pilsners can be. The Czech style tends not to be as dry as a German style on the back, from what I remember. Could be wrong. but this maintains that nice sweet wet bitter quality, and it doesn't really dry out that much, which is really nice because some pilsners, and light Hellas's can get just like dry mouth instantly. It just drops and it's just dry.
You get
like,
more thirsty.
You want to drink more.
You're more thirsty at the barbecue.
You want to drink. You want your thirst quenched.
You knock out 3, and at the barbecue, you're like, I have real bad cotton mouth.
Yeah,
right. Well, I agree with you guys that this was less hoppy than I anticipated and better balanced. Yeah. I actually still prefer the Shandy a little bit more.
I'd buy that. You're also is it sours?
Sourhead.
Yeah, you like a big flavor.
I like sour and I like funky. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. No one's perfect.
So I would say that
we all come pretty damn close, right?
I mean, you are the perfect kiss expert. It's true.
Yeah. So again, as it warms up, we're going to know with lagers, the off-gassing of the hops are going to be a little bit more pronounced. So you're going to not have as much hop flavor. It's still going to dry out, but it's not going to be as strong, and the flavors are going to lessen as it warms, versus ales and some of the other styles of beer that we've had many, many times. They'll just change flavors, not necessarily get lesser or more. They may get a little more rounded because there's less CO2 on the tongue because it's gassed off. You're going from liquid CO2 to air. So you're going to have less activity on the tongue when you drink it, versus when you first open it, you drink it, you're going to let a lot of effervescence. That CO2 is being released because it's hitting your tongue. Is not smooth. It's very bumpy. Anytime that liquid hits a bump, it releases the CO2 because it's breaking. It's called science. It happens.
That's why my cereal crackles when I eat it.
Yes, it does. All right.
I use Mountain Dew instead of milk, guys, just so you know.
Oh, geez. Here we go. All right. Any other thoughts on these beers?
I've moved beyond the beers. I was trying to figure out the countries that were in the LARP event.
Yes, that.
Kiss my Anthea, Cassidonia, and
Xanthia. So who, if you could be a part of, which one would you be a part of?
Well, I was going to briefly on what Dan was saying. I didn't mean to get back into that. I think both beers are great. I highly recommend them for the summer, for any comedies. Absolutely drink them. I mean, I joined Kiss My Anthea. Come on. I want to be the 5th Kiss member. And see what they paint on my face.
You want to be part of the Kiss Army.
So, Dan,
yeah, dude.
Given Loowit is kind of a small operation,
do
you think if someone wants to try the Good Vibrations, they should go get it? Because it may not be around very long.
Correct. So they do a lot of seasonal stuff. This is obviously a summer seasonal beer. We got this at Cerveza, so obviously they're distributing it through Washington into Oregon. You might be able to find them at New Seasons. I don't think Fred Meyer is going to carry Loowit because they're a little too small. But they are, again, just right downtown in Vancouver. Just take that first exit and go into off of Main Street.
Or Google the address.
Yes.
I would say that,
it's Loowit. And this is the Native American name for Mount St. Helens. Their logo is Mount St. Helens with the top gone.
Well, like a little fire emblem on the top. I mean, surely you must be able to find this in like Seattle, like Puget Sound region.
You don't know if they're distributing that much. They're pretty small, but they might. I mean, it just depends. So Washington State is self-distribution. They do have third tier. They do have people who have companies such as Columbia and distributing and some of the bigger ones that are there. But you have to distribute. You have to be able to produce enough for them to maintain. They're not going to do one-offs from a small brewery. They're going to.
Right.
There are independent small distributors that would carry them, but again, I don't know outside of Vancouver how far beer gets, because I know in Vancouver we don't get a lot other than the bigger ones from the Tacoma area, the Seattle area, some from Olympia, maybe Spokane, and that's it. I mean, those are the big cities, but you're not going to find a huge selection from the mom and pop shops.
Right.
Having traveled up there and gone to breweries that I had never heard of that are just like, oh, you exist. It's because I have not seen or heard of you until going up there and being told, hey, you should check these out. And so there you go.
I still think about the brewery we stopped at.
Oh my God.
And I can't remember the name of it, but it was on the way back from Port Angeles.
Yeah. I can tell you right now.
It's delicious.
Beers on tap are great.
Yeah.
They didn't travel well.
Agreed.
We bought a 4-pack, I think, and then I think I just left them at Dan's house, and Dan told me they didn't hold.
But if I remember, like their tasting area, they had a couple picnic tables set up behind the brew pub, and it was like on this like little creek.
It was like a country speakeasy.
Yeah,
you have to know. We didn't know it was there. I think we just stopped there because we saw one sign, and then we wandered around like, where is this place? We went to the front door where it's like dark inside. Like, where do we go?
It was like their grand opening. They had a sign. Otherwise, we would have no idea.
Oh, very cool.
It was a phenomenal detour on a nice little trip.
Yeah. Look them up. Like I said, they've got beers that they've been making for a long time that are kind of their mainstays. They do, if you do visit, they have 2 locations in Vancouver. They do have a annex that they're calling it an annex out in East County that they put up because it's easier to reach the masses out there than having them drive all the way into downtown Vancouver. So check them out. They've been around a while, and I think they're doing
Block
really
15's relatively large, right?
Yeah, they have multiple locations down in the Corvallis area, and they've been making beer a long time. They do a really good job with most of their recipes. Their year-round stuff is super solid. Sticky Hands is probably their most famous or well-known. Super Danky IPA. When dankiness was super popular, they were one of the first ones to do it. So
Brian's favorite.
Yeah, the more dank, the better. So, any other thoughts on the movie?
Well, the movie is 1 hour and 42 minutes long.
Yeah.
And our podcast is...
It's about 1 hour.
Okay.
We're getting close. So
nailed it.
All right. We're on it. So if you have an opportunity to check the film out, do so. It's interesting and fun.
I'll start with Aaron. It's not a must watch. You don't have to see it. If you like comedies, if you like David Wayne in The State, and you like a lot of those actors, it's a fun, easy watch.
Yeah. If you're watching with friends and looking for a comedy, this is a easy watch.
And not necessarily teenagers would be kind of like, well, there's some
like it.
Gratuitous.
Well, it's also not random. It's not random enough for teens these days.
I mean, as a teenager, I would have loved everything gratuitous about this movie.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there's not enough Skibidi Toilet for the kids.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out and listening then. And as always, the opinions expressed during the taping of this recording are those of the host. And, there's some water sitting here on the table.
If you don't hydrate, you're going to dehydrate. Drink the beast.
Drink it and love it.
This is Aaron. Until next time, I hope you find your LARP or other community that understands you.
This is Blake saying Augie definitely killed the king earlier, but since we didn't have any witnesses, it's an unreliable narrator. Bye.
And this is Brian. Remember, hug your littles properly.
All righty. Thanks, everyone.